Well, I'm thinking it's going to be a small group today, which is sort of to be expected. We haven't been publicizing the meeting very much, but I wanted to use you all as guinea pigs for a new way of conducting this meeting. So we've created a shiny new roadmap system that's going to be public facing, and I wanted to just socialize it with you all first. Which tracks all of the open tickets that are being moved along, both on the Cosmos SDK, as well as Regen Ledger, as well as our science, as well as our registry initiatives. We're pretty excited about this, and so I wanted to just take a quick moment to walk it through this sort of public transparent roadmap system and get feedback on it, get your guys' thoughts, and then, after that, open it up for conversation. And my hope is that this will serve as the foundation for future calls where we have sort of this open roadmap and we'll be seeing things move on that roadmap, and then can concentrate a lot of the calls moving forward on sort of interactive conversations as we move into testnets, as we move into people building, the collaborathon, people building applications and credits and all of the rest of the exciting stuff happening with Regen Network. So without further ado, and with your permission, I'll do a quick screen share and walk you through the roadmap. Right. Here we go. That's slide. So, can everybody see the roadmap here?
Yep.
Okay, so we're using Notion, which is kind of like our internal operations management system, and we do a lot of cool things with Notion. Someday maybe we'll do a quick call with the community to show people how we use this tool. It's pretty exciting. But you can see here, this is documented, and this isn't quite public yet, but we're actually going to embed this in our website. So everybody will be able to see it. It'll be completely public. And then we'll use it as the basis for our monthly check-ins moving forward. So you can see the roadmap is broken into 5 main categories: Regen Ledger, the Cosmos SDK, the registry for credits, for trading and retiring credits, our science for R&D, which is mostly grant funded to do verification and monitoring stuff, and then Open Team, our work in Open Team, which sort of allows us to report on the work that we're doing in that community. So these are the 5 main kind of anchors of our work at the moment. So as you can see, we have Regen Ledger, we have Cosmos SDK, we have the registry, and we have science, and then we have Open Team. So each one of these is a simple Kanban, which has the backlog, the coming soon, what's in progress, and what's been released. So as you can see with Regen Ledger, as I think everybody knows, we paused work on Regen Ledger until post Stargate. So our engineering team is strictly working on Stargate right now, and then we'll start moving these pieces into in progress as we have more bandwidth post Stargate release. So in the Cosmos SDK, you see what's in progress, which is the Stargate release, and the details of that are in the GitHub link. And Adriana and others who are in that community know in intimate detail all the things that are moving there. And then what's coming after Stargate is in the coming soon. So bank refactoring, store improvements, key and fee management, and then there's an architectural process which we're involved with the ICF to determine like the next year's roadmap with the SDK, which is quite exciting. Moving into the Regen registry, there's a bunch of stuff in progress, as you can see, and we're actually in the process of populating the backlog a little bit as a team. But you can see what we're working on is this sort of MVP for being able to buy and retire credits, and a credit class that's coming any moment as we get legal, sort of a bunch of legal work done for all of that on the sort of compliance side of things, which is very exciting. Science, lots of stuff moving in the science world. So we're very excited to be automating the monitoring and verification process for our first go-to-market credit, which means that we'll have this open source pipeline for the data science around generating these credits that will then live on Regen Ledger, which is really exciting. So that's moving and actually moving very fast. For Will and other folks in the open team, actually, we're essentially building an alternative to GIPS, simply because GIPS hasn't really been available, and there's some needs that we have in terms of signatures on data packages and other things which aren't really reflected in that architecture. So then we're doing sort of other work, mapping out future methodologies, and executing some work on grants, ecosystem service marketplace consortium report, which is where we're sort of outlining a scientifically robust approach to soil carbon quantification. In Open Team, we're in the process of wrapping up all 3 of these work packages, or paired work sessions, and moving them into work packages that will run through 2021. I'm in the process of creating a draft roadmap and sort of billing strategy for Open Team in collaboration with the Secretariat. So there'll be a bunch, this will sort of shift and evolve, and we're really excited about what's coming next in Open Team, but here you can see what's currently underway. So yeah, that was just a quick run through. I'd love it if, just people have reflections or comments on just sort of presenting our work in this way and having a living roadmap where you can sort of see things move from backlog to coming to progress. And, and hopefully these calls will start to be dynamic conversations, for instance, about Regen Ledger mostly, and the registry, where we can have conversations about what future features might get put into the backlog, is my hope of how these calls kind of evolve over the coming months. So yeah, I'll take a pause and see if folks have comments or questions or ideas.
Yeah, I can comment on that. So personally, I'm a person who loves structure, and I believe structure is important for everyone to better understand how what's happening in a project, what's happening in a company, what's happening in a team. And in this case, structuring the work that Regen does so clearly on like different projects that a team is working on, and making sure that everyone in the community understands exactly what the focus of the team is, and how this will shift in terms of what will be accomplished, what is coming soon, what is finished, brings a lot of clarity both to Regen as a company and what Regen as a company does, and also to the Regen as a team, and understanding more on what the team is currently working and how they are dividing their tasks and work. So we're really supportive of this roadmap and the way it is presented like this.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it looks good to me. I'm interested to poke at Notion a little bit more, because I don't know, I'm always looking for better workflow tools, and it looks super nice. It seems like it'll be less work in like preparation for this, like, so you don't have to be generating a lot of like boilerplate or like generating a lot of different presentations that are kind of like one-time use. And yeah, it seems nice. People can track things on their own, kind of, which is nice too.
Yeah, exactly. And as we get into the tweet cycle, there'll just be a simple artifact of, if people want to review the meeting on YouTube, and as Adriana and our other community members are tweeting about this, there'll just be a link back to to essentially this embedded in our website. And you can click in here, and this doesn't have a lot of detail, but for instance, if you go down here, the version of this about the SDK release, so there's a link to the milestone actually. So you can just pop in and go to the detailed documentations, all the ARDs, all the pull requests are right there. for instance, this ecosystem service credit module, okay, you can just pop over. It's because most people wouldn't have edit access. That's why it doesn't just link. But okay, you pop over and here's this RFC for the ecosystem service credit module, which is what we're using as the specification for that work. So people who'd like to be able to dig into the documentation, it'll just be right there. Which is I think very, as Adriana is saying, it's sort of the foundation for generating a lot of clarity and specification and conversation. Yeah, so my hope is this really serves to just clarify and get in a rhythm of, just a lot of coherence.
I'm wondering if, so for example, like you have detailed previously, Gregory, you have this 4 areas of focus that the company is working on at the moment. I was wondering if it makes sense, for example, where you have Regen Network roadmap in the workspace to create individual projects for each of the area of focus and then create a dashboard for each of the project. Because, for example, you have Regen Ledger smart contracting in backlog, but you also have Regen Ledger upgrade to Stargate incoming soon. And you also have Regen Ledger new release in the release. So this is more of organizing tasks rather than organizing projects. So it might make more sense to find a way to identify, like create a dashboard for each project and then link a general dashboard with all the projects. So for example, you have these 4 main projects, and when you press on one, then you find the backlog afferent to each project. So for example, I don't know, Regen Ledger. This is the Regen Ledger. So can you go back? So if you go back here, okay, I see. So let's say you have like the credit module project. Then the credit model has a dashboard of its own and has backlog coming soon, in progress and release. And then you have the Regen Ledger, which has project by its own. And then you have the open team, which it's a project by its own and has like its own dashboard.
Yeah, well, so yes. So this, we've been thinking about, at some point we may be able to achieve that. The challenge is that, each one of these, so the actual work that happens in open team, for instance, let me see if there's actually the links. I don't think, so just taking a moment here to show you, it's a little bit of a project management.
Do you have a link I could?
So if you look, for instance, so this is the Cool Farm Perennials module within Open Team. Open Team does all of its project management in GitLab. We do all of our Cosmos SDK and Regen Ledger in GitHub. The actual backlogs and the details of those don't live in Notion. They live in GitLab or GitHub. So for instance, there's this board that you can see in terms of Open Team, these are all the things that are going on. So if you switch back over here, what we tried to do is just have a simple overview, right? Because this is there's quite a bit going on. There's multiple teams, there's multiple repositories, and it's sort of similar to the Cosmos SDK where there's multiple teams working and it's quite complex. So what we were trying to do is create a simple and accurate visual overlook, but we can't actually, the amount of work to get it sort of like fully integrated with the multiple different project management tools so that you don't have to basically have somebody spending their full time sort of like managing the information flows is a little bit, there's a little bit of a creative tension there to get it all kind of like working together. This was our compromise, was the ability to have like these large, essentially epics that just move across and essentially refer back to wherever they are. But at the end of the day, we still have to sort of, on a monthly cadence, go in and make sure that we move everything across and have the appropriate links and everything, because it's not possible to automate it quite yet. I mean, maybe in a few years when all these different softwares mature, it will happen that way, but it doesn't currently exist.
No, I'm just taking a second look now because I was only seeing the first part and didn't quite understand how you integrated all of that in one. But now you see that you have multiple scroll down dashboards.
Yeah, so each one of these has its own dashboard, and actually, you can, there is a view of this that has all of them together into a single roadmap in which there's just different tags for Ledger, SDK, Open Team, Science, Registry, and there's all of the stuff that we're doing that's just tagged appropriately. But we thought that this view that actually discerns the different, flows made the most sense for now.
No, it looks good. No, it looks good. Yeah.
So at any point, and we'll work on making this, better and better, but at any point, the community can actually, okay, SDK, store improvements, I want to learn about that. Oh, okay, here's the issue. What are they working on? Oh, cool. There's the summary, there's the details. These are all the ARDs. So it just gives you a very simple way to understand what's happening there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this will be public, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is our public. This will all be complete, like public facing, and it's actually going to get embedded in Regen.network website, and then obviously we can share it on sort of a monthly cadence out as a link, so people can just go and look at it and ask questions and whatnot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so everybody's sort of heads down on the Stargate release. And Adriana, you and I are due. I actually still need to sort of write the, rewrite the new version of the testnet stuff. That's kind of cranking. It's kind of cranking away. That's where the bulk of, that and Open Team and Science. There's a lot of movement going, and then we're very excited to start to swing into Regen Ledger work. Which, by the way, just to pass it along to your networks, it looks as though we're going to be hiring a couple more engineers, sort of full stack blockchain engineers. So just, I know there's a lot of hiring going around in the Cosmos ecosystem, but we'll have formal job descriptions out. And if folks are interested or know folks who might be interested, stay tuned for that, because there'll be a couple more job openings so that we can continue to maintain and do good work on the sort of infrastructure we all rely on in the Cosmos community, as the SDK, as well as start to build some significant momentum on Regen Ledger side in preparation for Q4 testnets and a Q1 mainnet launch. So
yeah, excited to see that going.
Yeah, we're starting to build some momentum. It's very exciting.
Right in time, with IBC launch and everything. Here comes Regen Q1 launch. This will be great. You're right on the wave, we are raising the wave of the momentum, and then here comes Regen at the top of the wave. So that's a good spot.
Paddling in.
Yeah.
Surf's up.
Cool. So when are you releasing the roadmap to the community?
Anytime. That we're getting a little bit more input from the team just to make sure that everything's represented. Specifically, there's a little bit more work to do on the registry. So there's a little bit of work to publish that. But I think in the next week or two, I mean, we're sort of sharing it now, obviously. And we'll embed it in the website in the coming version. So there's, as it's noted here, there's actually a launch of we're upgrading the website, and that's going to be happening very soon. And so with the upgraded website, this will be included. And there'll be a fully revamped website, which includes the ability for people to purchase credits and see profile pages and see this dynamic roadmap. And yeah, it should be pretty exciting.
Cool.
All right. Well, unless anybody has any questions or comments or discussion points that you'd like to have, I think it's probably a good moment to conclude and see everybody in a month. And I wanted to keep this one actually kind of intimate, this DevCon intimate. And we're focusing most of our attention on Stargate, right? Regen, you know, there's a lot moving, but this stuff is big. But hopefully by actually next month, that's the invitation, and then this is the method of community report back and feedback moving. So for your just quick feedback, and as always, sort of participating as core community members. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's happening next month? You broke up a little bit.
Sorry. Well, we'll just be using this format moving forward, and we're also hoping, I mean, it looks as though we're wrapping up the Stargate release on Cosmos, which means that the team will start to spend more time on Regen Ledger, and there'll be much more conversation and, you know, report back on what's moving on the sort of Regen Ledger blockchain as we move towards the end of the year and future testnet. So there'll be a little bit more juice to these calls starting next month.
Gotcha.
As well as, you know, next month is October, and then the following month is November. And Will, as you know, we'll be digging into the Collabathon with Open Climate. So there's going to start to be a lot of activity. It's going to get a little crazy, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I meant to follow up. Is there anything I should do, or that we should do following up with, you know, Noah and Martine? Or
oh, yeah, I'm sure there is. And we do. I mean,
I think we're just both busy right now.
We're just all busy. We need to get a prompt. We need to solidify a prompt. And I'm thinking, I actually think there's room to have multiple prompts moving, but I want to crystallize the prompt that we're co-creating with Martine, and then make a couple invitations for other community members to participate in the Collabathon with prompts. And Dorn, Open Team is committed a match of 25K, and Martine got another 25K. So, and we're actually talking to Google and Microsoft and a couple of other folks. So I think there's actually going to be a quadratic funding match for open source climate accounting work that could be a couple $100,000 for this Collabathon, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So,
well, yeah, let me know if you have time, or if I can be supporting and, you know, trying to help crystallize that. I know on our last call we talked about 3 prompts, or you know, so you know, whatever we can do to move that forward, or however.
Awesome. Yeah. That sounds great. I mean, what I would love to do is just maybe we can put something on the calendar to have a conversation with you and Corey, in order to really solidify our certainty about, on the tech side, what we can promise, so that people are using, because it's a Collabathon, so we're wanting people to use a specific tool set to execute the prompt. And what I'm still not clear about is what we're promising by November, so that we can have a prompt that is reflective of the tools. that's a conversation between RSI and Regen Network mostly, because I think what we're talking about is, like, for instance, are we going to have digital signatures empowered through RSI so that it can pull the data? And do we have the credit module done on Regen Ledger so that people can just hack on a credit class with the RSI Oracle system? That's the real question. And so I think we need to hash that out and from the technical perspective, understand what we're promising.
Totally. Yeah. And I'll try to bring that up with Greg and see what we think in terms of timelines.
And if it's not going to work by November, we just need to then, okay, but what are we going to offer? Because obviously there's a lot of exciting stuff. It's just about getting the prompt right and using the specific tool.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Gregory.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care, everybody.
Bye.
Right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Adriana.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sahith.